ESPN, the world leader in motorsports coverage, presents Speed World. Saturday night at the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan, 20 brave Supercrossers face the gate. The gate is down, and the charge is on to turn number 1. I'm Dave Despain, and along with Larry Maiers, we brought you all of this action last week here on ESPN. Remember Jeremy McGrath, number 15, jumping out front as he has all season. And we all wondered, Larry, if it was going to be another Jeremy McGrath runaway here in Michigan. But then Guy Cooper came along and changed the story.
Talking about jumping, first it was Guy Cooper jumping past Jeremy McGrath. Then it was Michael Craig getting his jumps in. And it looked like that Michael Craig and Cooper may be taking the measure of McGrath. I think it reminded me more of a fade situation. And McGrath was going backwards, whether those two riders were going frontwards.
Well, Craig went frontward for a while, but then Craig went over the handlebars rather spectacularly. This while holding a big lead. The remarkable thing about that lead is that it was large enough he was able to refire the bike and stay out front. There he is in front of McGrath, who would subsequently come under a great deal more pressure before this night was over. And Larry, I think you were exactly right. The question was, could Jeremy McGrath stand the pressure, or was he headed for the back? Mike Kudrowski, number 3, goes by. Number 8, Damon Bradshaw heads for the front. Everybody's leaving. McGrath behind. The first chink in the armor for this youngster all season. Battle for the lead. Kudrowski and Craig, a pair of Kawasaki.
A little bit of teamwork there. We speculated on that point. Kudrowski's in line for the championship. Craig does not have a pair, and I'd have to say that that pass was rather easily made. Here comes another one. I think that Craig said, gee, one guy got by me. That was easy. I'll let another one go by. And Bradshaw takes over the number 2 spot, and we're just about to say goodbye to Michael Craig. Here he goes. Exit Craig. He's out of the picture for the second time tonight. This time he's done.
And Damon Bradshaw charging hard, but he too hitting the hay bales and taking a handlebar in the stomach, and he was done for the evening. And I think this pretty well writes off the championship hopes of the man who almost won it all last year.
Indeed. Bradshaw having 2 wins this year was in contention coming into Pontiac. It was a long shot. He's out of contention now. He and his mechanic Brian Lunas will go back to the Yamaha pits and regroup, but Color Damon gone. Question is, will he be effective here this evening?
Last year's champion Jeff Stanton feels the heat. Finally, Jeremy McGrath gets something going, heads for the front, but the winner is Mike Kudrowski. That was last night. Now it's a brand new day in Pontiac. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second half of the Silverdome Supercross doubleheader. I'm Dave Despain with Larry Maiers, the second of 2 races in 24 hours here in Pontiac. We came in with 4 title contenders, and Larry, somehow I feel that list may have shrunk to 3.
Well, mathematically, there are opportunities for 4 guys to win, but Damon Bradshaw is the odd man out, realistically. First half of that doubleheader, he crashed while riding, I might add, extremely fast. He was in second place, was catching the leader, Kudrowski. He crashed, took a handlebar in the stomach, and that ended his night. So for him to get back in it, he not only has to catch McGrath, who was way out in front of points, but he has to catch Stanton, he has to catch Kudrowski, and he has to rely on both of those riders messing up. I don't think that's going to happen. So realistically, he's out of there. Then the second thing we're looking at this weekend is the fact that this is a doubleheader. No time to rest and recuperate between races. Get yourself a nagging injury like that handlebar in the stomach or Mike Craig that crashed hard. You don't have that normal week to heal. You know, you're going to come right back and race the following day. So I think Bradshaw is pretty much gone. Color the series over. It belongs to McGrath, I guess I'd say it.
Well, you talk about 2 races in 24 hours. It's tough on everybody. For more on that story, let's go to Art Ekman on the floor of the stadium.
Back-to-back race days takes a toll on everyone. Mechanics to get the bikes back into running condition. Officials to rebuild the track, but especially those riders who have taken a tumble the night before, who might have a laceration, a pulled muscle, a sprained ankle that just doesn't have the right time to heal before the next race comes up. Bob Hannah, when I saw you in back-to-backs, it appeared to me it was just an opportunity for you to win 2 races in a weekend instead of just 1.
Art, I think it looked like that from the outside, but on the inside it was very difficult, and it's a matter of conditioning. Riders are used to have a week off, 2 weeks off to get ready for the next race. Well, not in this case. And if you've had a problem the night before, it really puts a binder on you for the next day. Let's take a look at some of the riders that had problems last night.
Yeah, I fell last night and banged myself up a little bit. I landed up on the handlebars and ended up landing on my head. But, you know, that's the way racing is. I obviously couldn't finish the race last night. I wasn't exactly right and probably would take a chance on getting hurt worse if I would have tried to ride. But, you know, that's the kind of thing that hurts you for a 2-night event because you don't have time to recover that next day. You got to get right back on the bike and be ready to ride the next day. So, you know, I did my best to shake it off, and I feel like I have. I'm a little bit sore, but I'm ready to go racing.
Well, the riders that are in the contention for the championship probably ought to come into this race a little conservative. Get by both nights with points and make sure they survive both nights. But the rest of us, you know, we're just in there to steal the show.
Yeah, my mechanic had his work cut out. You know, I got off twice out there pretty good, and I bit my bike up a little bit, but I think I was really the only one on the ground. Everybody else kind of got away clean. But my mechanic got my bike back, you know, to normal. Bike's running good, and looking forward to stay out in front tonight.
Well, Bob, who do you think has the advantage in this back-to-back situation?
Well, I'd have to say it's Mike Kudrowski. He didn't have any of the problems like the other riders had last night. He's very strong. He trains 7 days a week, and he's pumped up to win this race.
Well, if number 3 on the green machine wins this one here this afternoon, it could turn a runaway into a bona fide points race, that's for sure. Back to you, Dave and Larry.
All right, thanks, guys. We'll be back with the action here in Pontiac right after this.
Air Force. Equalizer. Tropical Thunder. First Blood. Carolina Crusher. Kodiak. Invader. Predator. Taurus. And Grave Digger. Coming this summer, a symphony of speed, power, and destruction. See Monster Jam. It's the 1993 U.S. Hot Rod Super Series Monster of Truck Racing with their own brand of high-flying heavy metal hard-stopping competition. See it live. Buffalo, Colorado, June 18th, 19th, and 20th. Colorado State Fairgrounds. West Lebanon, New York, July 19th, 20th, and 21st. Lebanon Valley Speedway. Hagerstown, Maryland, July 23rd and 24th. Hagerstown Speedway. Stafford Springs, Connecticut, July 31st and August 1st. Stafford Motor Speedway. The hottest ticket in the nation. Coming to an arena near you. Don't miss it.
Every shot is a blast of sound. The harder you hit it, the bigger the boom. Boom ball. Play it outside, play it inside. It's what excitement sounds like from Catacomb.
At Honda, we don't think kids should be the only ones who eat dirt. That's why we make fun and reliable dirt bikes for just about every member of your family. So that everyone can get a taste of the great outdoors.
AMA Supercross is brought to you by Honda, the reigning Supercross and 250 national champion. Honda, come ride with us.
We're back in Pontiac. I don't want you to infer from what I'm about to say that you should head for the refrigerator, but in the upcoming first semifinal, we have no major crashes, no major collisions, and no major controversy.
On the other side of the fence, we did have some major pass action, and including some of the riders that we have not seen run up front this year, and quite frankly, at the beginning of the season, we thought that's where they would be. Let's take a look at some of the action.
Pretty good racing here as we go to the highlights of the first semi. Gate is down, charge is on. The whole shot so critical in Supercross. This one goes to number 14, Doug Dubach. The doctor is in. He is a whole shot artist, but he hadn't had one for a long time.
Well, Dubach missed the early part of the season due to an ankle injury, and it's great to have him back on the circuit. He's a long way from being 100%. I think Dubach right now struggles to try to get into the main event. Look at the pass action there. That's Jeff Matasevich weaving his way, bobbing his way, and as they say, slicing and dicing through the competition, and Matasevich is looking good.
Peter Melton that he put away. He sets his sights on number 35, Mike Jones, who has the distinction of being the only world champion in the field. He won the World Supercross title, such as it is, and he's no match for Matasevich, who gets out of shape and still makes the pass.
Well, the reason Matasevich made the pass and the reason that he's looking so good is the caliber of competition. We're looking at guys that, under normal circumstances, are excellent riders, but they're not McGrath, they're not Bradshaw or Stanton or
Well, now, wait a
Craig.
minute. I just saw Denny Stevenson race the national championship Stanton for a couple of laps there.
I'm sorry I got into that. I'm sure I'm going to hear from all of them as a good block pass executed on the part of Matasevich. This is the way he's been riding this season. Dave, he turns in a strong ride, a strong performance, then he comes back and just seems to piddle around the racetrack. And right now, he's making all of the right moves, and he's looking good. Now he's kind of setting up Dubach. See there, he runs Dubach right out to the rails. It was a good block pass. Dubach had nowhere to go, and Matasevich takes over the #1 position.
That was really an impressive charge. He put his head down. He didn't waver. He didn't falter. When he did make a bobble, he turned it into a pass. He comes all the way to the checkered flag. Dubach seems pretty happy with second spot. He's glad to be back. Stevenson, Brooks, and Emig get the other transfer position. Let's go to the floor of the stadium. Bob Hannah and Jeff Matasevich.
Jeff, you've shown moments of brilliance in the qualifiers and the semis, yet you're having a little trouble in the main. Have you got it figured out?
Yeah, it's just I've been hurt all year, and mentally I'm not really there yet. I feel strong, and each weekend I'm healthy. I'm feeling stronger and stronger. My performance are improving. I'm getting my Suzuki figured out. It's working really well to this track here in Detroit. Hopefully in the main event I'll be up front.
All right, good luck tonight, Jeff.
Thanks, Bob.
Matasevich demonstrates he can get to the front of the semi. We'll go to the highlights of semi number 2. Jeremy McGrath. What kind of night is this going to be? You started out so badly in the heat race. You come back so impressively in the semifinal. This is the Jeremy we've been watching all season. Number 15 grabs the whole shot and splits. And Guy Cooper, who's having to ride the semi after his altercation with Damon Bradshaw, takes over second, and thereafter comes the race.
Yeah, Grayson Goodman doing the chasing there. While we're watching McGrath, let's point out that we're looking for the main event to see how McGrath responds to the race he had last night, to the start he had today in that heat race. Is McGrath coming under pressure? Is it going to affect him? Here comes the battle now. Grayson Goodman, number 56. Sean Kalos, rider number 47. And they're catching Cliff Palmer aboard the KTM. He's rider number 20.
That's a three-man battle, and it's critical because those are the last 3 transfer spots into the championship main event. With Jeremy and Cooper gone out front, these 3 guys are looking for the opportunity to get into the feature. And Eric Kehoe is a ways back of them and threatened for a moment to catch them, but then wasn't able to put it together. And here comes Kalos moving to the outside on Palmer, knifing back underneath, handlebar to handlebar. They say it's hard to pass on those racetracks. I think this is pretty good side-by-side action.
It is. This is probably the widest track that we have seen all season long. Pontiac Stadium, a pretty good-sized place, and they made excellent room, or took advantage, I should say, of the conditions here, and they built the track up as close to the grandstands as they possibly could. You'll notice, in fact, that the first rows are all covered over in plastic, and they're not allowing people to sit there. That's because the bikes are running up so close.
Here is McGrath with the semifinal victory and the opportunity to get to the main and get back to business. Cooper on cruise control takes the second spot and prepares for his rematch with Damon Bradshaw in the championship feature here this evening. The transfer spots from semi number 2 go to McGrath, Cooper, Kalos, Palmer, and Kehoe, who picked up the spot late. Let's go trackside and hear from the winner.
Jeremy, we had no doubt that you wouldn't win the semi. Tell us a little bit how you got there.
Well, you know, on the first lap of the heat race, I went down. Unfortunately, you know, went over some bumps over there and endoed, went into some hay bales, but, you know, I think I'll be all right. It was, you know, I'm kind of glad I got to ride the semi.
On a 2-day event, riding the semi, is that a big disadvantage, getting too much time on the track?
Well, for me it wasn't, because I only got about 2 laps in on the heat race, but you know, maybe if I had to race the whole heat race and race the semi also, I think it might be at a disadvantage, but I don't think so for me.
Well, I hope not. Good luck in the main, Jeremy.
Thanks, Bob.
Jeremy McGrath preparing for the feature. Mike Jones and Rich Taylor will join him there. They are the first and second place finishers from the last chance qualifier. We see a lot of the big stars of Supercross. What about the big rigs of Supercross? Art Ekman?
Popularity in sports breeds modern technology. And when it comes to factory teams, that can get costly.
Yamaha and Kawasaki's sleek new 18-wheelers are more than just mobile billboards. They tell us efficiency by the crew has been greatly increased, despite getting the luxuries of home, while the overhead is comparable.
Probably doesn't seem like it, but a box van consumes about the same amount of fuel as this big truck does. So when you look at that, if you're running 3 box vans around the country, you're saving the fuel for 2 of them, which pays for the guys' flights. And in the end, it averages out almost identical to running 3 box vans. If you were running 4 box vans and then you were running 4 guys out of this, you're actually saving money at that point.
When we had the little box vans, we only had about 10 feet of working room, and so you were always crawling over tires or spare frames or things like that. When the weather is bad, 2 guys can work upstairs and quite comfortably, and 2 more can work downstairs.
It used to be the factory mechanics would drive these smaller rigs to races, but with the tremendous scheduling demands from coast to coast, they ended up driving more than working on the bikes.
It makes it a lot easier. I can spend a couple days at home, and I'm not tired from the drive to the next town, and I come in fresh and ready to work on the bike.
Now the mechanics, we're home more, and we're able to do more stuff in the shop. We're able to do more testing. That's a big plus.
They call it a 4 1/4 cat, and I had this on the dyno a while ago, and it made 418 horsepower at the rear wheels. So it's probably running up 550 or 570 or something at the crank. Every trucker on the highway is jealous when they see it, because it's one of the prettiest Kenworths that you'll ever see anywhere.
Everywhere I go, every time I stop, people come up and ask all kinds of questions.
The amount of exposure that we gain from something this size, especially with the color scheme that we have on this, it draws nothing but positive attention to a sport that we all really like.
2 18-wheelers on the Supercross scene, but there's more on order.
Do you know what you need to know about managing your money? Take the Wall Street Journal Personal Finance Test and find out. How can you correct an inaccurate credit rating? Why are April and October the most popular months for buying CDs? How long is a personal check valid? You'll find the answers in this free book, The Wall Street Journal Guide to Understanding Personal Finance. The guide is filled with information, from financing your new car to refinancing your home. There's even information on how to lower your taxes. It's yours free when you subscribe to The Wall Street Journal. Every business day, The Wall Street Journal gives you the news, analysis, and insights you need to make the right decisions for your business, your career, your future. Subscribe now to The Wall Street Journal. Get 13 weeks of the Journal for $37, over 20% off the newsstand price, and your free copy of the Guide to Personal Finance.
Call 800-258-2700. That's 800-258-2700.
It's main event time in the Pontiac Silverdome. Number 52 is the hometown hero here, Jeff Curry. We've got several of those in both the 250 and the 125 class, which you're about to see in action. The youngsters, the stars of tomorrow, the kids who are battling for the Eastern Region Championship of the 125 division in Supercross. And Curry, with a 3rd place finish last night, drew huge cheers from the Michigan fans. But alongside number 16 is probably the guy we ought to be looking at, because he is celebrating the championship here today.
Yeah, he wrapped it up, that Eastern Regional Championship title, in the first round of the Pontiac doubleheader. Curry coming from a ways off the pace to finish 3rd. We'll watch the highlights here again today. We'll see another good ride from Curry, who I might point out is the only Michigan rider in this 125 main event.
The launch as Doug Henry, the newly crowned champion, gets away with a less than brilliant start. Out to the lead goes number 49, and that is Jeff DeMent, a young Texan, counterpart, if you will, of Ezra Lusk, who hasn't had Ezra's success here this year. Ezra, a strong runner up front, was injured last evening. Number 46 there to challenge is Barry Karsten. And some surprises here, some names we haven't seen, and some faces we haven't talked about.
And one surprise, well, it's no surprise. Doug Henry, who did not get the good start, as you pointed out, is already up to the number 3 position as he makes his way around this tough Pontiac racetrack. Still on the opening lap, he's going to take over the number 1 position. Then he's going to turn around maybe once or twice and wave at the rest of the field and put one more main event win in the bag for the champ.
You suppose he thought about riding the 250 class today? Would they have had
No. As a matter of fact, he did think about riding it, and he told them that's what he wanted to do, and they said, thank you very much. We don't have an extra 250. There was the pass. He's in the number 1 position. That was shortly after the green flag, signifying all systems go on the lap. Back to that Doug Henry thing. He said, yes, I want to ride. I'm looking forward to it. I'm chomping at the bit. And Dave Arnold, the team manager for Honda, said, sorry about that, son. Stay on your 125.
Yeah, you'll get your chance soon enough. And so he says, fine, I'll go out and just win the race again, and ahead of a huge battle. Look at this. We've got all kinds of competition. Number 54 is Mike Brown. 52, the man everybody was cheering for, Jeff Curry, had to pass an awful lot of people to get himself into contention here this evening. Suffered the bad start for the 2nd night in a row. Curry works his way around Todd Bennick right there. And Jeff doesn't have quite the support that some of the guys up front do.
Now, he does a lot of this on his own. He gets a little bit of help from this guy from that dealership, the gas station down the road, kicks in a few bucks. But this is truly a privateer effort, and he's making the most of it as he goes around Barry Karsten, or to the inside, I should say, of Barry Karsten.
Meanwhile, on the other end of the stadium, a little misfortune for last year's Rookie of the Year, Tim Ferry. Your basic bloody nose. My theory is he probably just got too much altitude off one of the triples and bloodied his nose. Actually, he crashed, but he was okay. Jeff DeMett, youngster out of Texas, teenager. He and Lusk were both talked about as they were coming up through the mini bike ranks as kids who would battle each other once they got to the top. But as we said, DeMett has had a few more dues, apparently, to pay this year.
Well, here comes Jeff Curry on the rear wheel of Mike Brown. Earlier, Jeff Curry talked about last night.
I felt great out there. I just suffered a poor start, and I had a little mess-ups on some of the triples and stuff, but I overcame it and caught up to 2nd, but I just needed another lap.
Last night, he needed one more lap. Tonight, he needed about another 100 yards. Curry gets himself into the middle of another
There he goes.
race.
Now he just flew by in that downhill section. Mike Brown to take over the number 3 position, and that sets up this last lap heroics. Meanwhile, out front, you know who that is. That's our newly crowned regional champ, Doug Henry.
Henry wins again. The race is for 2nd. It's the Texan Jeff DeMett against the Michigander on the charge, Jeff Curry. He's about a bike length behind, and the crowd, see him in the background, on their feet, whooping, hollering, cheering, whistling, screaming, stomping, and none of it's helping because he's stuck there behind DeMett. Can't find the line to get around.
He gave it everything that he could possibly put together. Look there, drew alongside and actually had a wheel out front, but had the wrong line to make this charge to the checkered flag.
Well, they got around him just fine 10 yards after the finish. And so the local boy continues to make good. It's Henry, DeMett, Curry, Brown, and Yezik, your top 5, taking them down through 10 spots. In the 125 main, John Dowd, Chad Pedersen, Barry Karsten, Jeff Despain, and Jimmy Eichel.
Doug, you wrapped up the series last night. Is this all fun and games now, racing out here?
It's a good experience for the 250 class. You know, I was out there riding as hard as I could the whole time because I know the 250 class is going to be tough.
Is it easier to race when there's no points involved?
Yeah, a little bit easier, you know. When I was coming into the race, you know, Honda kind of wanted me to take it easy, but I kind of wanted to race my own race, and seemed to work out good. We kind of did both things. I kind of rode easy, but I, tried to ride my own race.
Doug Henry, the newly crowned series champ. Ezra Lusk didn't ride tonight. Injured last night. He'll challenge Chad Pedersen for 2nd spot in the series finale at Indianapolis next weekend. And we'll be back with the 250 main event right after this.
The new Honda V4 Magna. Nothing's meaner. Red Devil enamel. You
you can always count on its durable finish. Harder than ordinary paints, its beauty lasts and lasts. Red Devil Enamel for the finish of a lifetime.
See everyone. Oh, why, thank you, Vendela.
Lipton Original. Guzzle it, gulp it, chug it, but never sip. This ain't no sipping tea.
All right, we are inside of 30 seconds on the countdown clock, headed for the championship main event and the wrap-up to this Pontiac Silverdome doubleheader. Damon Bradshaw intent on revenge with Guy Cooper? Let's hope not. Let's focus on the title to be won. Jeremy McGrath, mechanic right there, certainly thinking about nothing but that as he sends Jeremy off for this point-paying championship feature. Who do you like, Maiers?
Well, it's an important race for a couple of reasons. One, Jeremy McGrath is on an extended losing streak now. He's lost one in a row, and I think we're going to see if he can rebound. That's going to be the interesting point to me. Is Jeremy backpedaling now as he tries to maintain his slot, Dave?
I don't think so. Judged by this start, the gate drops, the field charges turn one, and McGrath goes straight to the front, and Damon Bradshaw went straight to the back. Bradshaw was last into the first turn, if you can believe that. I don't know what has happened to this guy. There is number 12. You saw him starring in the semifinal. Matasevich, Cooper also away. But look at this kid. McGrath making up for last night is gone.
Well, that question was answered. Is Jeremy McGrath backpedaling while he holds position? Nope. He's gone to the front, and he's looking for another win.
Got a couple of Suzuki kids to challenge him here. Number 31, Phil Lawrence, up in the second spot. Last night's winner, Mike Kedrowski, trying to work through the traffic with the Swinkster to contend with. Number 19 from right here in Michigan is Brian Swink. Hadn't had a great season. He's got Jeff Emig on his tail. Here are the Suzuki guys running second and third. Factory Phil Lawrence in the number 2 spot on number 31. Behind him comes 23 Denny Stevenson. And then it's the Kawasaki of last night's winner, Kedrowski. Cooper out of shape over the jump.
No surprise there. Cooper quite frequently does that. Always recovers. We had a quick look at Jeff Stanton, who's running somewhere around mid-pack. A disastrous start for Stanton. In fact, he was back 13th or 14th place, Dave.
And that's one of the reasons that you see the crowd sitting rather glumly at this moment. They came to see Stanton get his championship back on track. And instead, they're watching last night's winner, Kedrowski, moving his way to the front. He's up to split the two Suzuki kids on his Kawasaki and sets his sights on Lawrence, the number 2 man.
I don't know if McGrath is cutting new ground or territory here in Supercross, but if we were to look, McGrath is so far out in front now, while here comes Kedrowski, and Stanton is back behind him. These guys are still jockeying for position. They're looking for running room on the track, and they're not riding up to their full potential. McGrath, however, is going just flat out, and he's leaving them. So if they ever do get in position, he's gone. And look at this, Bradshaw from the back of the pack, trying to work his way up to contention. If he gets there, it's going to be too late because McGrath, as I said, is just going to be gone.
And man, he started all the way in the back. I think we owe a call to Phil Lawrence. We have not seen this kid perform like this before. He's challenged here by Kedrowski and meets the challenge.
Good point. Lawrence is a 125cc rider from the West Coast. He's contending for that title, as a matter of fact. We'll see how he does when we come back.
If this is a lock, this is a Schlage lock. Schlage, the Doberman of locks.
No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't get her last words out of my head. As I came over the ridge, I kicked it in a fifth. And suddenly, I couldn't hear a word she said.
The 50-yard. Indoor war. The rock and roll fury of arena football. Tampa Bay meets Arizona Saturday night on ESPN.
We're back at the Silverdome Supercross doubleheader. Last night's winner, Mike Kedrowski, challenged for third spot by Denny Stevenson. If this race continues at its present pace, the phones will light up in Cherry Valley, Whoa, we've got trouble. Jeff Stanton is down and appears to be out.
It's Larry. It looks like Larry Brooks. It is Larry Brooks. I'm not sure what he did there, Dave. It looked like he was on Stanton's bike, but I think he had just picked Stanton's bike up off Jeff Stanton, was trying to get it out of the way, and now Brooks is going over to tend to his own bike. I'm not sure. Here, watch the upper right-hand corner. There. Brooks went over the handlebars, and you can just see Stanton colliding with Brooks's motorcycle. Now, Stanton ends up on the ground with his motorcycle on top of him. There's Brooks, and Brooks looks around, and the first thing he does, you can't say enough for that young man in doing that. He picked the bike up off of Stanton and not worrying about his own position. I imagine he's rather shook up there. The ambulance crew tending to Stanton. Meanwhile, Kidrowski has taken over the number 2 position. He didn't stop to look at the wreck. He said, I guess I've been in a couple of these, and I don't need to know what's going on. He made the pass.
Well, the point is that the racing does continue away from the crash scene. There was concern, obviously, for Jeff Stanton as the crews were there quickly and are still there. As Stanton went down hard, was not moving around very much. Brooks got the motorcycle off of him. Now the medical crews are there. And again, the crowd sits stunned as Jeff Stanton, the reigning champion, on the backboard, being carried off the racetrack here in his home state of Michigan after a hard hit.
Oh, that's really bad. That's Jeff's wife. Behind him is mechanic Dave Arnold from Team Honda, following a close suit. An awful lot of friends here, all of the family, obvious, watching here, and they're as stunned as we are. There's virtually no noise from the audience. Pontiac has not been good to Jeff Stanton. It cost him a title here a couple of years ago, and title is nothing to even think about it at this point. Obviously, Jeff looks like he's hurt bad.
Well, the concern, of course, is for the champ's well-being as Jeremy McGrath leads it out front. We'll be back with more after we take this break in Pontiac.
Barefoot. Equalizer. Tropical Fronter. First Blood. Carolina Crusher. Kodiak. Invader. Predator. Taurus. And Grave Digger. Coming this summer, a symphony of speed, power, and destruction. See Monster Jam. It's the 1993 U.S. Hot Rod Super Series Monster of Truck Racing with their own brand of high-flying, heavy metal, hard-stopping competition. See it live. Buffalo, Colorado, June 18th, 19th, and 20th. Colorado State Fairgrounds. West Lebanon, New York, July 19th, 20th, and 21st. Lebanon Valley Speedway. Hagerstown, Maryland, July 23rd and 24th. Hagerstown Speedway. Stafford Springs, Connecticut, July 31st and August 1st. Stafford Motor Speedway. The hottest ticket in the nation. Coming to an arena near you. Don't miss it.
The Suzuki Katana 600, easily identified flying object.
You can find less expensive trimmers than those made by Steel. They probably won't have been rated #1 by a national consumer magazine, and they certainly won't have Steel's knowledgeable dealers with their authorized parts and service behind them. But you can find them. Steel's powerful, lightweight FS36 trimmer is priced at just $139.95. See the full line of Steel trimmers at your nearby full-service Steel dealer.
How far will your money go when buying a Dual Sport 350S? Introducing Suzuki Get On It Flexible Financing. Want to see it again? Other programs include 0 down, low monthly payments, and first-time buyer. Get on it.
Last night, he was a question mark. Tonight, he is an exclamation point. Jeremy McGrath demonstrating clearly that he is back after a bad night last night. Hey, I guess even a rookie is about to have an off night. Boy, he's been sensational this evening.
Let's check the interval clock between McGrath and the rest of the field. Here comes Kidrowski in second place, and I make it to be just about 11 seconds. But Kidrowski is back behind the youngster from Murrieta, California. Here comes third place, Jeff Emig. Fourth place belongs to Denny Stevenson. And here comes Brian Swink out of Linden, Michigan. He's the last Michigan hopeful in this. If you've just tuned in, Jeff Stanton injured a while ago. And our word is, Dave, that when they loaded him into the ambulance, he was regaining consciousness, and he did have full movement of all of his limbs. So we can be thankful that there's that much going on.
Encouraging signs for Stanton, who will go to the hospital for the obligatory checkup. We pick up the action among some guys who ran very well in their heat race. Phil Lawrence, number 31, has dropped back now into the clutches of number 12, Jeff Matasevich. He has been passed by number 24, Mike Craig. And following that pair comes Steve Lamson, number 21, who won his heat race in a battle with Phil Lawrence. So that is the best race on the racetrack right now. You can see they're within striking distance of swing. So
Matasevich has something wrong with his motorcycle. I'm not sure if we're looking at a radiator situation there or oil that's tumbling out and smoking, but it seems like every time he lands there, see there? You just see a whole bunch of either steam or smoke. It's hard to tell from our vantage point where that is coming from.
As we watch that battle continue, the question becomes, will the motorcycle live? And the question, will Mike Craig crash again, also seems relevant at this point. This is your 5th place action right here, and it changes dramatically as the clock finally ran out on Phil Lawrence. He was pushing it pretty hard, tipped her over, and he's going to be back outside the top 10.
Well, again, Phil Lawrence has been riding 125s most of the season on the Western Regional Championship runs and doing very well out here tonight. He's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, it's no disrespect at all to Crash. A lot of great racers have said over the years that that's how you determine if you're going fast. You get it out there, you tip it over, and then you know you got to step back just a half a step from that edge.
That's always been my philosophy.
Yeah, right. You keep falling out of the broadcast booth as a result. Number 23 has also had a good run tonight. Denny Stevenson has been up closer to the front than we've seen in recent weeks. Michael Craig, picking himself up off the ground after a couple of hard crashes last night, has run very well here this evening. Swank trying to get himself back into top 4. Got a new haircut here, no hair at all. Shaved his head for the hometown race. Hasn't seemed to help.
Well, if you take his helmet off, the aerodynamics of that particular haircut might help. But that looked good. A couple of great moves as he moves into the number 4 position.
Yeah, that was a nice pass. It's unusual to make one pass there. He got around both guys, taking Stevenson for the 4th spot and leaving Craig now back in 6th position. Up front, Jeremy McGrath continues the runaway. You're not missing a thing. This is where the action is right now as they battle to see who will be the final man on the podium. Swink trying to salvage something for the Michigan fans, as you mentioned. Jeff Stanton now a question mark for next week's race in Indianapolis, but no question that Jeff Stanton's hopes of winning this championship, like Damon Bradshaw's, have been a victim of crashes here in Pontiac.
So in this doubleheader, we've lost both Bradshaw and Stanton to the championship clutches or championship race, and that's going to boil down now to Mike Kiedrowski and to Jeremy McGrath, and they're currently running in the number 1 and 2 positions.
Kiedrowski needs to get up there and pass Jeremy McGrath right now, but
good luck.
No chance of doing that. 10 seconds back, so we stick with this action and watch Craig battling for 5th spot, taking that position from Denny Stevenson. Craig finally gets it around Stevenson. Took him a long time to make that pass, but it's to his credit that he kept after it until he got it done. We'll be back for the finish right after this.
Sports Illustrated gets you ready for NFL football in this exciting new video, Inside Football 93. Free with your paid subscription to Sports Illustrated. The best way to get inside the action for over 24 million readers. Call this number now and get the best of last season, plus Sports Illustrated's views on the next champion.
I like San Francisco to beat Dallas in one of the greatest championship games.
Plus, you'll get a second video free with your paid subscription. The NFL Video Yearbook of your favorite team. Pick any one of the 28 teams and get their best from 92 and a preview of 93. Free from Sports Illustrated. Get 2 free videos, Inside Football and the team video of your choice, plus 54 issues of Sports Illustrated, including the 2 big football previews for only $1.39 an issue. Save over 52% off the cover price. For quicker delivery, use your credit card. Every week, Sports Illustrated makes sure you really get in the game. Nobody's into sports like Sports Illustrated. Get into it.
We're back. We're following the action for 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th positions. Guy Cooper comes into the frame here momentarily. Number 7. David Bradshaw never got up there and got a shot at him tonight.
Oh, and Steve Lamson makes a good move. He moves into the number 7 position. That drops Stevenson back to 8th in the battle there for the number 9 slot. That's where you don't want to be in that fracas is Guy Cooper. Cooper squirts ahead to the number 8 position as he passes Stevenson. Cooper has come a long way from out of the pack. He didn't start all that badly, but he went backwards there in the early lap, but now he's regrouped, and the Stillwater, Oklahoma veteran has come on strong and is putting in a pretty good ride here.
And Bradshaw, for what it's worth, has climbed from dead last to the tail end of the top 10. I suppose there's a chance he might still catch up with Cooper, and we could get some fireworks out of that yet.
Oh, Mike Kiedrowski.
Mike Kiedrowski on the ground after winning it last night. Can you believe this? The 3rd championship hopeful of the weekend to take a huge shot to his title hopes.
I have to think, Dave, that, you know, you said what he had to do was to get up there and pass McGrath, and we kind of chuckled and said that's about an impossibility. I have to think that Kiedrowski was trying. He was just letting it all hang out. He was looking for the points. He needed to make that pass. He needed to beat McGrath. And this is not going to put him out of it completely. It dropped him back a ways, but he's still in contention.
Here's your 3rd and 4th place battle now as Swink has moved into 3rd position and could finish on the podium tonight. Michael Craig now in 4th spot as a result of that misfortune for Kiedrowski. You're exactly right. Kiedrowski had nothing to lose. I mean, go for it. Try to get up there and make the pass. If he didn't beat McGrath in the last 3 or 4 races, it wasn't going to matter anyway.
There's Jeff Emig. He's in the number 2 position. Emig has come on strong the last few events. He was 2nd in Charlotte just a couple of races ago. He was ill, I think mononucleosis, if I'm not mistaken, in the early part of the season, and it's good to have Emig back racing strong.
Well, Yamaha's tickled to see him making this charge because with Damon Bradshaw starting last and struggling to get into the top 10 tonight, somebody's got to carry the hopes for that team. Emig is doing it very nicely as we prepare to wrap things up here on Sunday afternoon in Pontiac.
AMA Supercross is brought to you by Smooth Busch Beer and easy drinking Busch Light.
What is a mountain man's natural environment? Let's explore. A mountain man enjoys peaceful surroundings. A place where gentle winds blow. And the beauty of nature is all about. Only here does the mountain man find true happiness with a smooth Busch Beer or an easy drinking Busch Light. So, head for the mountains and find out how the true mountain man can make any environment a more natural one.
The Suzuki GSXRs. First, they win more road races than any production motorcycle in history. Then, we put a license plate on them. The new liquid-cooled GSXRs, now available in 600, 750, and 1100 octane.
You're watching ESPN, the Total Sports Network.
Back at the Pontiac Silverdome, the laps are winding down. It's all over but the shouting and the champagne unless this guy does something real dumb. And I predict that won't happen. Larry, I have trouble remembering the big numbers. How many is McGrath going to win here tonight?
This will be his 7th victory of the season. More importantly, it answers the question, is McGrath going to fold under the pressure? Last night we thought maybe that was a possibility. Tonight he come back and said, watch my stuff. He has been strutting it hot and heavy. And, man, color this season just about over last lap. Kiedrowski is still in it mathematically, but McGrath is really going to have to fold in order for Kiedrowski to be up and have a shot at this thing, Dave.
I was going to say, Larry, pressure from whom? I mean, Stanton's gone, Bradshaw is in 10th or something, and McGrath has pulled out to something like a 12 or 15-second lead now, and Kiedrowski's picked himself up off the ground for the 3rd time tonight and is outside the top 10. I don't see much pressure on this.
He's kind of waving at the crowd now, having himself a good time as he jabbed the number 1 sign at him and said, there you are, Pontiac fans. I know you wanted to see another guy up there. We're both on Hondas, though, which, Dave, let me just quickly throw in. We had a note slid in front of us. Jeff Stanton is in a very good shape. He's fully awake, and all of his limbs are functioning properly, so that's very good news from the hospital.
All right, we're happy to hear that for McGrath. What a story. A rookie comes into the 250 class to do as rookies do, pay his dues, learn the ropes from the big stars, figure out how to deal with the intensity of the competition and all the rest of that, and he blitzes him. He runs away from him. He wins his 7th main event of the year. Jeff Emig comes home. Somewhat surprising second here tonight as he got things together in a hurry, and look how far behind Jeremy McGrath he is as he shakes his head and says, well, that last little mistake isn't going to hurt me. I am home free with a runner-up finish. Good to see Jeff come back.
Boy, he is a long way back, isn't he? That just shows you what McGrath had going for him, and that's it's been his way. It's been his winning ways all season. Get the hole shot or get the lead early and then just pour it on, and that's what McGrath did.
That's the style of the kid, 22 years old from Murrieta, California. He is the top dog in Supercross 1993, and from all indications, he can waltz from here to the national championship. He'll become the first rookie in the history of the series to do that. And as you see from the crowd reaction, still some disappointment. They came here to watch Stanton win tonight. Emig, Swink, Craig, and Lamson round out the top 5. A lot of young talent in that field. Cooper, Stevenson, Bradshaw, Palmer, and Kalos, the top 10. Let's hear from the winner.
Jeremy, last night things just weren't going the way you're used to having them go. Tonight, you look right back in perfect form.
Seems like every time we have a week off, you know, I come back a little bit rusty, you know, even if I have been riding the whole time. But, you know, tonight went very well for me. You know, I couldn't have done it without all these fans and my, you know, Team Honda and all my sponsors. You know, one thing, Bob, I'd just like to wish my sister a happy birthday. Her birthday's Monday, tomorrow.
Happy birthday to you. You take a look at the point standings. We're going to go back trackside and hear from the race runner-up tonight. A very happy Jeff Emig with Bob Hannah.
Jeffrey, last night you pulled out of the race. Tonight you're in second place. What's the difference?
I think my head was on a little crooked last night. I had a really great heat race. And I don't know. I think I'm psyching myself out a little bit. Definitely. You know, I got a good start this race. Or not real good. I think I was about 5th or something, but I just I told myself, you know, not to give up like I did last night. You know, pretty much embarrassed myself last night when I pulled off. And, you know, and it's not like I'm trying to make up for it tonight. You know, I'm just trying to put myself where I should be.
And where he feels he should be is up here on the podium with the likes of Jeremy McGrath and Brian Swink, who's got to be tickled with 3rd tonight. Final thoughts, Larry Maiers, as we say goodbye to Pontiac.
Well, 2 thoughts. One off the track, of course, is with the family of Jeff Stanton, and we wish him well, and hopefully he'll be back racing at Indianapolis. On the track, Jeremy McGrath. What can we say? He's won 7. He's looking for a single-season record.
For Hannah, Ekman, and Maiers, I'm Dave Despain. See you next week.